OpenAI's latest AI model, codenamed Strawberry, has raised concerns about its ability to remember conversations and reason like humans. A Reddit user reported ChatGPT asked personal questions about prior input, sparkling debates over its AI memory capabilities. Experts warn this innovation may pose risk and include deception and misuse, with calls for legislation to regulate AI development. The chat GPT asked the user, "How was your first day at school?" Welcome to Level 2. That and many, many more stories tonight. Episode 1766 is coming to you this Monday, September 16th. I'm your host, Todd Cochran, ready to deliver your tech news and information fix. A quick shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Score exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all our fantastic listeners, you are the real heartbeat of the show. If you want to support the GNC mission, head to geeknewscentral.com/insider to become a GNC insider. We're lit and live thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen. Experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can interact in real time and take your podcasting experience to the next level. While you're at it, check out the full Geek News Central universe at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all our partner shows, tons of content, and more tech goodness. Stay in the loop, follow or subscribe via your favorite podcast app, and join the community. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for even more insider scoops. Have something to say? Join the conversation at geeknews.chat or email me, geeknews@gmail.com. Hit me up on X at Geek News, and of course, you can even catch me on Facebook. A massive thank you to GoDaddy, the longest continuous running sponsor in podcasting. Keep the savings rolling and the tech flowing. You can grab their best deals at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Lock in those savings today. Pick up a brand new domain name for $11.99 or $6.99 a month economy hosting for a free domain, professional email, and SL certificate for the first year, or $12.99 a month to manage WordPress hosting. Again, a free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate for the first year. You can always get a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. Again, lock in those savings. We appreciate your support of GoDaddy here at Geek News Central. Our monthly non-expiring offers always offer significant savings, unlike a big corporate discount site that I see linking to Blueberry all the time that hides the codes and tracks your every click. You're supporting a small business of content creators. So again, get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Pick up a great deal. We definitely appreciate GoDaddy for their ongoing support of the show. It's greatly appreciated. Well, how everybody, how are you doing? Of course, last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was at MACON and the Marketing AI Conference. And again, welcome to Level 2. I tell you, it was an event that was as expected, and many of you are waiting for my report, and I will give you some details today. It was definitely like drinking from a fire hose. There was a lot to share. Now, 2 things today. Listen up, listen closely. Number 1, there's going to be an Easter egg in the video someplace today. An Easter egg. I'm not going to say when I'm going to show the Easter egg, except if you want access to the 30 top tools that they recommended, I'll have a screenshot of that part of the presentation as an Easter egg in the video today. For those of you that are insiders that are supporting the show, number 1, all you have to do is send me an email and I will send you the presentation on that particular part of the convention. And I'll also link you to a video of what you're to expect with what's going on with AI in regards to search. If you're worried about search and you're worried about what's coming, for our insiders only, I will link to that particular presentation. If you contribute to the show between now and the next podcast, doesn't matter. One-time donations are fine. I'll also link you to the presentation. It is by far the best presentation I've seen in this regard ever. I'm just going to leave it at that. Again, what's happening with SEO and AI and those two things and how things are changing. I've talked about it here on the podcast that we don't know what's coming, but this 1 hour video will be so much value to you. Now, just to let you know, I paid, or my company paid, about $1,500 for me to go to this event. There was a huge amount of value that was gained from it. The 30 top tools in 30 minutes that I'll have as an Easter egg, I'm going to give to everyone free, interspersed in the video version of the show tonight. So it'll be available on YouTube. It'll be available as a podcast. You'll be able to get to that point, and you'll be able to screenshot it and be able to go and look at those tools yourself. But in regards to some of the things that I took away from this event, is some things you really need to think about as we're heading into this change of what's going to happen with AI over the next couple of years. And let me just be frank. With the release of the new ChatGPT version, we've officially entered level 2 and the 5 levels that has been laid out of what's going to happen in transformation because of AI. Level 3, probably a couple of years away, where agents, true agents, will be able to start taking over your jobs or making your life incredibly much simpler. Now, today, there's a lot of things that are claiming to be agents, and they use a combination of logic, language models, machine learning. It's really like you can't ask something right now, go book my flight to X destination on certain date within this certain price range, arrange a hotel, arrange my tours. You can't do that right now. In 2 years, absolutely. That'll be in the cards. And that's when things are really going to get crazy. Now, this level 2 piece that we just had with reasoning, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit and more in detail about some of the news that's come out about this and some of my own personal experiences I've had in the time since it was released and now. But you as a business owner have to have a almost monumental change in how you think about what you're doing for your customers. Number one, you have to have almost a religion on what people love you for, including this show. Anything you do in your business, you have to have religion on what people love you for. We have to know our brand. We have to know our customers, because if we don't, in the near future, that's all we're going to be left with is a brand, what we're known for and what we're loved for. And if you have a brand that is loved, people know, people will share, you will survive. But if they don't know your brand and people aren't willing to share or not having people willing to talk about and love what you do, you are going to be, things are going to change considerably for you in this new world that's forthcoming. At the same time, we can use what we have now to get suggestions and improve the tedious stuff that we're already doing and should be doing. And more importantly, if you're in the content creation business or you're putting forward a message to your customers and on your website, you need to be hands-on your content in a big, big way. You need to be shaping that message to the best of your business, because we're heading into a platform business. Geek News Central will have to become a platform that is more recognizable, more supported, more followed, because we are essentially now in what is being referred to as the fifth industrial revolution. And how did we get to the fifth? Well, there was a great presentation on that. And again, you weren't there. I can't go into the details of it in detail because it just was too much to consume and to be able to share, except to say that things are changing and we have to change with it. In the near future, you're going to have folks, and this is already starting to happen in China, where you have influencers that are living on camera 24 hours a day, that it will be migrated into a virtual influencer, where virtual influencers will be online pitching products and services 24 hours a day. And right now, with everything going on and with the changes coming, marketers really are not going to have enough time and data to be able to move in ways to get it all right. We're in uncharted territory here. But you definitely need to really think about everything that you're doing today to make sure you are continuing to attract customers as time goes on, and your business needs to be in that business, because search as we know it is changing and is going to change, and it'll never be the same, and it already is changing with services like Perplexity and others. And so it's going to be important, and little stupid things that we're doing today. Mailing list. Going to have a way to still stay connected with existing customers and not irritate them to disconnect. That's not, you're saying, Todd, that's not about AI. That's normal marketing stuff. But the thing is, what's going to happen is we have to prepare for no more search, no more discovery via the web. There's ways ahead. Again, this search video, man, set me back in my chair. I really had to think about it. And again, I'm going to share it with those that donate to the show. It's that valuable. I'm telling you straight up, it's that valuable. And basically it'll be a link. And that link is semi-publicly available. But if you don't know where to go look for it, you're not going to find it. So I'll just leave it at that. And we'll go from there. And as more stuff comes to light, and again, I've got access to the 100 or so presentations that were done at the event, and I'm going to start going through stuff that I was at and refreshing my memory, because believe me, I was taking notes, but it's just chicken scrabble of one-liners, and I need the sessions to go correspond with what was talked about, so I have full recall on what was shared. If your company allows it, I don't know if they will allow you to buy the videos to the event. I think they're $4.99 or $5.99. Maybe worth it for your company to buy just the virtual ticket. If you couldn't have anybody, if they allow you to buy it for not attending the conference to get access to the presentations, I would say that would probably be a worthy investment for sure. So again, Easter egg in tonight's show. And other than that, I got back Thursday night, worked Friday. Friday, we started on phase 3 here. And those of you who haven't been following along, phase 3 is basically a storage unit going through all the boxes. And I'm happy to say phase 3 is 90% done. I'm not bringing anything more of the house. I brought my secure room. Most of it's here, put away. I had to order one more cabinet, but I've got stuff organized. I couldn't believe it. It's sorted stuff for donation. Very little stuff actually for sale in the old electronics. But other than that, I'm now can just breathe. Next weekend, I'll have a couple of hours where I make stuff available for pickup for sale. And it'll be what it is. I now can get everything into one storage unit, no problem. So if I don't sell furniture, it's no big deal. I'll be able to consolidate stuff, and by the end of the month, I'll get rid of that second storage unit. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being part of the family here, joining the show. And if you're watching live today, please say hello in chat. Let me see here. So again, if you're watching, just weigh in and leave a comment. I'll do my best to respond to you. But let's go ahead and really get into this first. Oh yeah, we can leave that up because I'm not ready to share that yet. First topic up here is kind of a doozy. And it's what I referred to in the beginning of the show, that experts warn OpenAI's chatty new model may be too smart. There's a great article talking about how someone was using it and it's got history, it knows, it has memory. If you have that piece turned on in settings, and somehow deduced this individual was getting ready to start college, going back to school, and he asked the individual how your first day at school was. Kind of freaked the person out a little bit. One of the questions, how was your day? That's an innocent bit of a human small talk, but when ChatGPT asks you, it could have some unsettling overtones. Now, one thing that I realized, and of course we're all there at an AI conference and everyone's phone blows up as soon as ChatGPT released the new model, or OpenAI released the new model. We're sitting hitting refresh on our screens, and I had prepared. I had a very, very big project that I had worked very hard on. First of all, one of my team members drafted it, and it was just this, about 40 pages of things that we could do, different checklists, examples, and it was just overwhelming. And I basically worked. Some of the sessions were, we had two people there, so I let one of our marketing leads go to the real important marketing ones that she would get the most value for. Then I picked a sub one. So not all of the sessions were fantastic. So there was a few times I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I can listen in and do a little work at the same time. And so I spent some time taking this big document and scrunching it down. And got it down to about 20 pages of real actionable phase 1, phase 2 type of development. And then there was another piece that I've been working really hard on for the company that I've been personally working on. And I have page and a half, 2 pages of, rambling thoughts of things that we could build. And so before this model was out, I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me, take what I've written here and see if you can improve upon it, clean it up, basically that type of a command. It did a great job. It created me a nice 2-page document, succinctly went through and really kind of cleaned up my topics, didn't get off base from where I wanted to be. And I said, wow, that's good. And I said, I'm just going to send this over to one of the team members and we can have a meeting about it. And I said, wait a minute, I'm just going to hold on to this thing because this new model's coming. So maybe I can use it. So a couple hours later, the new model came out. And basically I wrote, here is my development plan on things I'm going to do for and I wrote a significant prompt. And then I said, please review and determine the best ways to implement each of these specific ideas. And I gave it some more detail and give me the step-by-step process that I should undertake. Bam, I hit enter, thinking, updating, analyzing. It's giving these little prompts, right? And boom, it starts writing. And it writes for about 5 pages. And I'm looking at this thing thinking, I've never heard of it. It's giving me a term. I've never heard of this before. And I copy and I paste it into Google. And sure enough, up comes this thing I've never been aware of. So there's another term I don't know. And I pasted it in. And about 5, 6, 7 of these, I'm like looking at tools, that I've never heard of in my entire life. I'm a geek. I thought I'm newing up to speed, and I'm like, holy smokes. So I copied the new piece, and I had the old piece, and I sent it over to one of my team members. And I'm going to say his name on the show here because I don't want him being hijacked from me. And he read through it and came back in Slack and said the two words that was the most popular at the Maycon event, holy shit. That was his words. Holy shit. And I looked at this, and I'm doing the HS2, right? And I took the other document, and I'm saying, okay, here's this, this 20 page. Can you condense this and make? And it took a while. A while being like maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to think. And and I read through that, and I was like, holy cow. Because it has reasons and planning, and I would have never in 100 years I shouldn't say 100 years. I would have never been able to more distinctly separate task and ideas, and because I'd ask it, what would that look like? What would be the benefit? What would be what is the negative? Why shouldn't I do this? I asked these kinds of questions, and it gave me, here's the benefit. Here's why you shouldn't do it. Here's, and it reason. This thing's at a whole new level. It's at a whole new level. Is it perfect for everything? Nope. For sure it's not. But it gave me appreciation of what things are to come. And if you haven't played with it yet, I'm going to suggest that you do. I'm suggest you take a look, and it's the best $20 I spend every month. But they only give you 30. Be very careful with it. You only get 30 a week, 30 responses. That's how much energy it's using. I was told that for every current ChatGPT query you make, it's about a bottle of water of cooling to keep the data center cool. I can't imagine what this new feature and it's understandable why they're limiting it to 30 responses a week. I want to hear what you found. What was your oh wow moment? Have you had one? Have you had to sit back in your seat and have that HS moment? Love to hear from you. But anyway, experts warn OpenAI's chatty new model may be too smart. Question is it? Not for everybody, but for some things, I'm sure it will. At the same time, stuff is scary out here. What could come? Larry Ellison says omnipresent AI cameras will ensure good behavior. Yep, they're already seeing this in the UK. Have any of you seen the videos of people that are cutting down cameras in the UK? They're going around with hacksaws or with and not hacksaws, but the electric ones. You know what I'm talking about, and chop saws or whatever they're called, and cutting down lights. Well, there's this idea that AI powered surveillance will be something upon us in the near future. And he described a world where artificial intelligence system would constantly monitor citizens through an extensive network of cameras and drones, stating this would ensure both police and citizens don't break the law. And he outlined a scenario where AI models would analyze footage from security cameras, police body cams, doorbell cameras, and vehicle cams to basically, is it that time from that one movie where you get a ticket in your car, you went over the speed limit? Is that what we're forthcoming in things we're going to see? I don't want to live in a surveillance state, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. That to me is very, very scary. Hackers. Now, just listen real carefully here. Hackers are making available information of U.S. voters in an attempt to undermine the confidence in the security of the election infrastructure. But did you know that voter information is already publicly available? They don't know who you voted for, but they know who you donated to. They know if you voted, where you voted. They know all this information. So in a public service announcement published last week, and I don't know which agency, but they announced that most U.S. voter information can be purchased or legitimately acquired. Oh, the FBI and CISA have no information suggesting any cyber attack on U.S. election infrastructure and has prevented an election from occurring, change voter registration information, or anything like that. So, yes, voter information is very much available. Who you donated to, if you voted, where you're registered to vote, all that is available. So just be aware of that. Don't get freaked out when you see this information has been released. Now, Tile, do you guys remember Tile? You know, we all have those of us that have an iPhone have the little AirTag trackers, right? Well, Tile has launched new trackers that can be found via satellite and a tracker hiding feature. So this is something that Apple doesn't allow, a tracker hiding feature. So we know how Tile works. You know, you press a button and it finds you, it beeps at you, right? I think there's an app for that too that makes you be able to find your device or find your Tile. And this new feature, and it's going to be tied into Life 360. So some of you like Life 360. My mom and my sister use Life 360. And so there's a bunch of new implementations, but this new one, thanks to partnership with satellite company Hubble, the new tiles won't be just findable using a Bluetooth connection. It's promising that satellites will be able to help you find them in the future. So that's interesting. Also, Tile has this hidden feature. Now, here's the deal. You can hide your Tile, but what you have to do is you have to submit. Now, a benefit feature is it ensures that thieves don't simply find your tiles and dispose it when they steal your valuables. They introduced this safety feature requiring you to scan an official ID, a passport, driver's license, or something equivalent, and take a selfie to verify your identity before you're allowed to turn on anti-theft mode, with the threat that if it will share this information with law enforcement and issue a $1 million fine, you're suspected and later convicted of a stalking crime and use this mode to track a person illegally. Now, here's the problem I have with this. When you are in a relationship that is not going well, you are going to be more than willing to scan an ID, take a selfie, and verify your identity, and place a tile in a vehicle that you own to track someone that you may be in a relationship with, to figure out where they're going without their knowledge. That's probably going to happen. Or worse, if you are a stalker and you are tracking someone to figure out where they're going, that person will not know that that device is on a vehicle, person, an object you own. They will not know. There's no notifications going to happen. You're basically saying, you think a stalker is going to care of potentially being prosecuted? I think this is a bad move. I think this is a very, very bad move by Tile and what they're doing here. It's very scary. There's been a few times I've been in my car and gotten a notification that I have an AirPod tracking with me. And it's sometimes been my own AirPod. sometimes it's been stuff that I'm like, what is this? And never fully resolved what the alert was. So some of you may have some of this type of things even happen with AirPods. Not with the, is it AirPod, whatever it's called. So, yeah, just be aware. Also, the FBI is saying, now listen up, everyone's ready for the election. The FBI says U.S. public should take extra care when reading hacked poll data. Now, there's information campaigns going on by Russia and Iran. They are reposting poll information, tweaking the results that lean the voter sentiment one way or the other. So please make sure that if you're looking for poll information, that you go to the source of polls. You go to the New York Times, you go to the news sites, you go direct to the source and get the information. So just be aware. Also, they're actually talking about voter registration data being changed and published information, making people think that their stuff's been hacked. So be careful out there, okay? Earlier this month, U.S. law enforcement seized 32 sites and charged 2 individuals with conspiracy and crackdown on an attempt to influence the presidential election. The scheme was part of a large influence campaign orchestrated by Russia and the folks in Iran to get a certain individual elected. Be just careful out there. Get your own source of information, okay? And I'm not pointing to one candidate or the other. At least I don't think I did. Just be aware, all right? Port of Seattle confirms recent cyber attack with ransomware attack. So, again, basically the Port of Seattle said, we're not paying the ransomware, and we're going to get back up to work without it from backups. So they usually steal sensitive data, but their investigation has determined the unauthorized actor was able to gain access to certain parts of the computer system, was able to encrypt access to some data. Investigation of what the actor took is ongoing, but it does appear that some port data was obtained by the hacker. Assessments of the data is complex and takes time. So, but they are not paying the ransomware design. Point blank. Also, NASA has issued an alert for a stadium-sized asteroid approaching Earth tomorrow. Potentially hazardous asteroid 2024ON will come within 1 million kilometers from Earth. So I think 1 million miles is close enough. We don't need that to get any closer whatsoever. A new kind of malware is locking your browser to steal your Google login details. If you ever get into a situation where you can't navigate, you can't close a browser, and you see your browser doing things in the background, pull the plug. Shut your computer off. Hard stop that machine. Do not allow someone to control your machine that you are not in control of. This new malware is looking to steal victims' Google login credentials. It's an unusual tactic with no clear statistics about its effectiveness. The malware does not have a specific name, but it's part of the Amadei malware loader and was discovered by cybersecurity researchers since August of last year. The unnamed malware coming in the form of an auto LT script. The loader also deploys what's called the TLC info stealer. So lots of workarounds, but it puts your browser in a kiosk mode. So just be aware, if all of a sudden you can't control your browser and you in everything you do to shut it down doesn't work, kill the machine. Kill the machine. If it's a Mac, do a hard reset. If it's a Windows machine, I don't know what you do these days. But I run malware software on all my computers and antivirus on all my computers. Doesn't matter that I'm using mostly Macs at this point. At the same time, a ransomware group leaks data allegedly stolen from Kawasaki Motors. 487 gigs was released because they refused to pay the ransom. At the same time, some email apps are about to lose access to Outlook emails. If you're one of the many people that use third-party email apps to access Microsoft Outlook email, I haven't used Microsoft Outlook email in at least more than 10 years. More than 10. Microsoft has started sending out a final notice that some third-party email apps will soon lose access. The reason the affected third-party apps are not secure enough. Microsoft wants users to switch from basic authentication to modern authentication, which uses OAuth 2, a much safer login process that keeps accounts secure. There's not a list of the apps that are... Is there a list? No, there's not a list of the apps that are going to be cut off. So just be aware of that. Hey, I want to thank our insiders. I want to thank our insiders very much for their ongoing support of the show. I greatly appreciate James Fletcher for his $2 sustaining donation. Thank you so much, James, for your ongoing donation. It's greatly appreciated. We also have had a number of users that have been sending streaming sats. Streaming sats have come from Bob. He sent 1,000 sats. He says, "Hey, Todd, here are a few more Geek bucks. The studio is looking great, and the sound quality has been very good. Take care from one retired brother in arms to another, Bob in Dover, New Hampshire." I got 100 sats from Sam, and he says, "This is for Steve Pratt." So, Steve, thank you so much for your support of the show. We've also had a number of folks that have been streaming the show live, include Darren Schwartz. Thank you so much for your ongoing support of the show. Again, if you're not an insider yet, if you are not a Geek News Central insider yet, it's real simple to go over to geeknewscentral.com/insider and sign up for that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, or $25 monthly donation. Again, one-time donations are greatly appreciated. We thank all of you that are supporting the show financially. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you again for your ongoing support of the podcast. Apple shares have slumped as analysts warn of a weaker iPhone 16 demand. Basically, the people are not buying the new phone. And pre-order sales, which began Friday, have tallied an estimated 37 million units. This is down 13% from last year's iPhone 15 launch, and is a result of course, a weaker than interest in the Pro model. What it is, it's not that. People are tight on money. Money is a big factor right now. People are tight on cash. So the stock is down. And, because they're not happy. People aren't spending money. I think that is the case all over the place right now. So again, Apple shares are down because of the slump. China wants all kinds of things, and sometimes I have to giggle a little bit, but China wants red flags on all AI-generated content posted online. China, you can really wish in one hand and, pack sand in the other. But China's internet regulator on Saturday proposed stricter regime that will, if adopted, require digital platforms to label content created by AI. The draft proposes that logos appear in several locations in text, image, video, or audio, and they want audio files to have a voice prompt. Video players can either way just posting notices, and of course, folks on the net who post AI-generated content will be required to label it as such if they use generation tools provided by a platform. So, China, go away. Mind your own business. But this is a draft. It calls for China's internet platforms to share the smarts they develop as they work to detect AI. So if you're in China and you have a platform on China's platforms, you're probably going to be affected by this if it's passed. But, my opinion is, China can pack sand. This is a good one. Apple Watch Sleep Apnea Detection gets FDA approval. There's a lot of people with sleep apnea that don't even know they have it. And, I have used a CPAP machine for more than 20 years. It was life-changing. I've talked about it many, many times. I can get away with not wearing the machine 1 or 2 nights, but typically I'm about 98% of the time I use my sleep apnea machine. And there's a world of difference in my cognitive ability, everything that goes along with the bad things that happen because of sleep apnea. And if you have a partner that you think has sleep apnea but is refused to go get a sleep study, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. You need to have either Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, or Watch Ultra 2. The FDA has approved this for sleep apnea detection. Sleep apnea detection. If you have been detected to have sleep apnea, you are setting yourself up. If you don't go and tell your doctor, and if you don't go get tested and have a sleep study done, you are setting yourself up for one simple thing: death. D-E-A-T-H. D-E-A-T-H. Death. Sleep apnea will lead to your death. Yes. Enlarged heart. This is the main thing that will kill you, amongst other stuff. Go, if you have a partner or if you yourself are alone and you don't know if you have sleep apnea, good signal of it is if you're driving your car and you stop at a stoplight and you microsleep at the stop, you probably have sleep apnea. If you are just overly tired, you just may have ran a marathon and you don't know it. So this would be the number one reason why I would have an Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, or the Watch Ultra 2. That would be the easiest upgrade for me. Well spent to protect one's health. And it's got FDA approval to detect sleep apnea. Now, you got to wear your watch when you sleep. Okay? Trust me on this. If you go out and buy this watch and it detects that you have sleep apnea and you go get a sleep study and it's found out you need to be on a CPAP machine, thank me later. Okay? Thank me later. And we'll take that value back down the road in you being with us longer. So, I'm serious about it. I just know how bad it can be. I really, really do. Prisons just got rougher as a band of violent cybercriminals sentenced to lengthy stints. I don't think the prisons actually got rougher because these are usually geeks that are doing these cyber crimes, but these violent cyber crimes. And listen to this one. This is incredible. Rema Ray St. Felix was found guilty of leading and playing a starring role in his gang of lawbreakers earlier this year, and now will spend the next 47 years in prison. There are 5 years of supervised release tacked on to the end of that. Plus, in order to pay more than, get this, $524 million in restitution. He was convicted of 9 counts of relating to conspiracy, kidnapping, Hobbs Act robbery, wire fraud, and brandishing a firearm in the furtherance of a crime. What did this guy do? The 25-year-old Floridian's exploits date back to 2020, in a time when his gang members stole more than $3.5 million from various victims. So he actually targeted an elderly married couple in North Carolina. Him and a friend deceived the couple into letting them into their house, They then at gunpoint zip-tied their limbs and hold them at gunpoint over a large sum of cryptocurrency. The gang had researched the couples prior to the attack and knew they had robust wallets. The ordeal led to the theft of crypto tokens valued at the time at more than $150,000. So what were they doing? They were basically saying, hey, you don't give up your crypto wallet, I'm going to cut off your toe, cut off your private parts. I'm going to shoot her, or talking about rape. Announcing the sentence on Friday, the Department of Justice said this was not an isolated incident. Holding victims at gunpoint was a common theme. A similar attack was carried out just a few months earlier in Little Elm, Texas. This time, a man was targeted. Jared Gabriel Senegal, 23, and 6 Houston-based thugs. The man and his family were restrained, held at gunpoint for more than 3 hours, during which time said man and his mother were tortured. Just like the elderly couple in North Carolina, around $150,000 worth of cryptocurrency was stolen, as well as valuables and Rolexes. Be careful out there. These are some very, very bad actors, and this is a good reason for these two knuckleheads, or this group, this band, 11 people, getting extended jail sentences for what they did. In AI news, Walmart and Amazon drive retail transformation with AI. They're going to harness AI to drive retail transformation with new customer experiences and enhance operational efficiency. They're focusing on augmented reality and AI-enhanced store management. They're really trying to figure out what you are going to buy and who you are when you walk into the store. They want to make your shopping experience a personal experience. Walmart has submitted 3,000 AI patents, with 20% of those in the last 3 years, including a swift evolution in its AI capability. In contrast, Amazon boasts more than 9,000 patents, half which were filed during the same time frame, underpinning its leadership in retail innovations. It's all of understanding to make them know who you are, what you're going to buy, and driving a shopping experience that when you go online and you go to their website, they know exactly who you are and how to present material to you. Everyone will have a different experience going forward and going to a website. What I load on my computer will not be the same as what someone else loads when you're doing retail. It's all going to be blueprinted to your persona. And it's happening a great deal already. Walmart and Amazon are very, very aggressive. And they're really trying to strengthen their market position. And what that's really going to do is that's going to cut out even more the small local retailers. And it's going to have a broader impact. So we'll see. We're going to see what happens here. But again, you are the product, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward. And a more fun topic, Cybertruck owners are complaining about premature tire wear. Well, if you own a nice heavy vehicle, guess what? The tires wear out pretty quick. This is nothing unusual. The rate at which a tire wears is heavily dependent upon the vehicle, how it's driven, and in general, how aggressive you are, and vehicle weight. Now, most drivers will get a minimum of 20,000 miles out of a set of tires in a front-wheel driving vehicle. Some could get 40,000 for rear-wheel driven vehicles. I typically, on a brand new vehicle, I get about 30,000 miles out of the first set of treads. Then I go to a much better set of rubber, and I usually will get 40,000 out of that next set. So it all depends on, too, the type of tires you're buying. There's lots of factors. But the bigger the vehicle, the quicker stuff's going to wear out. Now, what would be so big to cause a deep space transmission to reach Earth 8 billion years after it happened? Well, a fast radio burst according to where they believe the origin was, started coming our way 8 billion years ago. I'm sure that's rounded. And basically, this said that I'm thinking, okay, someone pointed a antenna at us. No. This is apparently because a star exploded, and it produced 30 years of energy in basically milliseconds. In order to get through all the dirt and dust and everything else that goes on with how far signals go in space. Okay. No, we didn't hear from ET. Not at all. 88,000 people have impacted by Access Sports data breach. So Access Sports Medicine Orthopedics is informing more than 88,000 individuals their information is compromised. The New Hampshire-based orthopedic service said it discovered suspicious activity in its network on May 10th. So again, if you have done business with this orthopedic service provider, you'll probably have gotten an email or a letter in the mail already. Those of you that are on Macs, Mac OS 15 Sequoia is available right now. And we've got an article about the new features. And I'm not going to go through these, but link will be up in the show notes. Came from Tech Radar. Lots of updates, but most of you don't care. You're just going to download the update and see what happens when the update comes. But Mac OS 15 Sequoia available right now. 23andMe has settled a class action breach lawsuit for $30 million. So, that got a big whack. Genetic testing outfit is settled. And what was this? This was a class action lawsuit to 6.4 million U.S. citizens whose data was stolen during incidents. So basically about a cyber breach. So each person will get about $5. That's what your data is worth in this class action lawsuit. Maybe $2.50 after the lawyers take their piece of the pie. Also, your iPhone could be worth big dollars, man. There's some things to look for, and I will be honest with you. I was digging through all my stuff. Do you guys see behind? You probably can't see it, but I found, I keep boxes of old iPhones, and sometimes I put my old iPhone in the box. Sometimes the iPhone gets hand-me-down, so, some of the iPhones I had been through 2 or 3 family members' hands. Some were traded in, but I think I have 2 iPhone 1s, but they all bust up. One's cracked on the screen, the other one's broke down the middle, heavy wear and tear, worth exactly $0. But if you want to donate an unopened or highly magnificent condition, is that even a word? Something with a magnificent condition to the show, I'd love to have an unboxed iPhone 1 or one that's in mint condition, because it could be worth a little bit. You're just making a donation to the show. So anyway, your old iPhone could be worth big. They have a link up in the show notes. Don't forget, you can trade your old iPhones in and get a credit in many instances. You can sell them on aftermarket as well. Don't just throw them in a drawer. Like I had many in a drawer for years, but I have some of the early model iPods, which are up on the shelf, along with some early model iPhones. And some of those will stay, and I'll never sell them, even though or throw them away because they're worth $0. My kids will probably get them after I'm dead and throw them in the trash. Not thinking anything about it, but who knows? We may see a Aurora Borealis here in the northern part of the United States or in Canada. So keep your eyes to the sky. We had a big sun event, and so again, watch out for northern lights. They could see as far south as California, Missouri, and Oregon. That's about as far. And again, there was a large plume of plasma magnetic field known as a coronal mass ejection that happened, and one was at 4.5 level, and it was the 5th largest solar flare of the current solar cycle, which we're supposed to be heading the other way shortly. So anyway, link will be up in the show notes on that. Just look north tonight. Or, well, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, you may have missed it. There's an interesting article over on Medium, and I've run out of, and Medium is really irritating me because you have to log in to read a lot of articles now. But there's a good story about what's called the dark internet theory. The dark internet theory has not really been, has the net been taken over by AI? I don't think so, but it's very, very close. This is a good write-up. But do we remember the golden era of the internet, when we had to dial up and we're at 2400 or 9600 baud, or we got to 56K? Those were the days, right? So anyway, this kind of talks about the evolution of the net and what's happening today. There's something that, I'm just a little bit of a geek hoarder. And let me ask a question of this audience. How many of you have saved 3.5-inch drives for sentimental value? For some reason, and I don't know why, as I was sorting through my stuff, I opened up a box and I was like, And inside that box was 2 storage cases for my most prized 3.5-inch drives from like 1995 and 96 and before. It had all my Wildcat software. It had MS-DOS versions. It had Windows NT. There was Windows 98 boot disk, a bunch of drivers. And I'm thinking, is there any value in any of that stuff yet? And it didn't go in the dump. I'm still kind of like trying to figure out what to do with those drives. I think my idea is, unless somebody in this audience tells me, don't do it, I might get a frame, a rather big one, and I might glue those 3.5-inch discs to the frame and tell an evolutionary story of stuff that personally I did over the years running my bulletin board. And, there's enough disc. There's probably 100. You're never going to use them. But is there any weird collectors out there of this stuff that will pay for any of that? I'm doubtful. There might be people that have old machines that they're playing with. I don't know. So you guys let me know. I haven't pitched them yet. It's just one of those things. If I'm a geek hoarder, I'm a geek hoarder. I'm inclined not to, but I just don't have it. I'm trying to not hold on to stuff that is worthless. And I don't have a lot of room. It's 2 little boxes. I can probably swing it. What say you? geeknews@gmail.com. And if you're online, should I toss them, or have you still got 3.5-inch discs stashed someplace? I'm not talking about CDs. Don't even ask me how many CDs I have. I don't know. geeknews@gmail.com. geeknews@gmail.com is the place to send your email on that. I'm going to hold off. We have until Sunday. Sunday is my cutoff on whether to keep or to pitch. geeknews@gmail.com. Let me know if I should, or, it is sentimental. I'm sorry. Can't help myself. It's one of those things. Oh, maybe someday I'll get an 8088 machine. Maybe I'll load Windows 3.1 on it. And maybe I'll load this software up again. But it brought memories back. QEMM. Do any of you know what that is? How about DeskView? Any of you know what DeskView is? Oh, I've talked about in the past how I would rewrite batch files to get every last byte of storage optimized. Fill in registers so that, basically, that small amount of memory we had, you tried to fill every register to the maximum, right? If you got 6, 7, 10, 12 bytes of storage back, it was like this big victory. Oh, the times we lived. The success of ChatGPT continues. OpenAI's popular AI app triples in revenue with $1 million in earnings per day. It tells you people are using that thing. So you take 1 million, divide it by 20, that gives you an idea. Hybrid working is toast at Amazon. CEO wants everyone back in the office. If you don't go back to the office, you're going to be fired. January 2nd, 2025, all full-time employees are going to be back in their desk. No hot desking will be allowed. You have to come to work. Interesting. Good day for me. Intel stocks have jumped on plans to turn their foundry business into a subsidiary and allow for outside funding. We know that Intel spent $25 billion on the foundry business in the past, each of the past 2 years. $50 billion they've spent. And the company has lost 60% of its stocks in 2024. So their stock is up because they're getting rid of this thing. Or spinning it off so they can, not look like they're losing so much money. This antitrust suit, S-U-I-T, the DOJ is still ongoing. And their Google 20% of cut of ad transaction was the subject of the end of the week 1 of its trial. So, the fun continues over in Google land. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at the end of the road here for the show. Yes, the page was shown for those that watched. The Easter egg is in the content somewhere. And again, all insiders will get linked to the SEO video. All you got to do is email me for it. I'll send you the link. Anyone that's making a new donation between now and the end of the week will also qualify, again, between now and the end of the week. The end of the week being September 20th. If you don't have the new donation in by the September 20th, you don't get the link. I don't know how long that video is going to be up. So that's why I'm making it until Friday. Once you get access to the video, you'll be able to subscribe to the gentleman's YouTube channel and get lots more cool information. But again, I'm reserving that for insiders. Again, I appreciate everyone's ongoing support of the podcast. Thank you so much for your attention today. It's been my pleasure to bring you the podcast. And thank you for your ongoing support of GoDaddy, our full-time sponsor here at Geek News Central. Again, if you have comments on today's show, geeknews@gmail.com. It's been my pleasure to bring a show. I'll be back with you Thursday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. If you have any specific questions about Maycon or anything like that, please fire them off. The best event and the best money my company has spent 2 years in a row. And both of us came back and wowed and working up on follow-up action plans for the company. So not very often you can say that about a conference like that. But hey, again, welcome to Level 2. If you don't know what Level 2 is, please look Level 2 up and understand you got a couple of years before Level 3, where life as we know it is going to change dramatically with the advent of true agents. It's been my pleasure to bring you a show. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Everyone